8 Minecraft tips that you may not know existed. Hello everybody, and welcome to OMGcraft. I'm your host, OMG Chad. Here are a few tips, some quick, some a little bit more detailed, that you might not know exist inside of Minecraft.
So here we are in a little test world, and well, first I have to spawn in these sheep because they are going to be useful later, let me tell you. So first, these 8 tips are going to be very useful for you. Maybe you know some, maybe you don't know some. First is a tip on how to easily pick up ores that you have already mined and need to mine a second time with a new tool. You may be thinking, that seems very specific, Chad, but this is actually very useful when getting flint from gravel, when coming back home with a stack of diamond ore and you want to break it open with a Fortune 3 pick that you keep at home, and maybe you use Silk Touch to pick it up in the first place. So here is how it works. What you're going to do is take the block that you want to break and put it in your offhand. By default, that is F on the PC. Then bring the tool that you want to break it with and put that into your normal hand. If you right-click, it will place the block that you want to break. So just to give you an idea of the advantage that we're going to be getting, this is how you would normally break gravel. If you wanted to do something like this, you'd place it down and then use your tool on it. But with this technique, it's a lot faster. Go ahead and place down one bit of gravel. It doesn't have to be in this contraption. I'm just doing it so that I'll make sure to pick up every single piece, every single entity that comes out. Now walk right up to it and then put your cursor, your crosshairs, on a side that will not place another block. So this side that's facing me, if I right-click with right now with this gravel, it's not going to place. But if I do it on the top and right-click, well, it's going to place another block. So do it on this face that's facing you where it won't place another block, and go ahead and right-click and hold that right-click down. So you're holding down the right mouse button. Then, if you hold down the left mouse button, that should activate your shovel. Go ahead and click it and hold it down, and this is what happens. You will place and break blocks super duper fast, and this is very efficient. Very efficient, because in the past, what would you do? Well, you'd put down not like that, but you put down a whole line of gravel, and then you come back, and you go and you pick it up. But this way is amazing. Just absolutely very, very, very fast. And once again, you don't need this crazy contraption. If you want to, you can place a block down just like that, walk up to it, and there you go. Now we have started the process. So very, very cool tip. That was tip number 1. Moving on to tip number 2. If you have ever tried to move sheep or mobs or cows or anything, you've used wheat before. You can do this with seeds, with chickens, but you've probably noticed that they are super derpy and it takes a long time to move animals this way. But here comes the tip. If you use a splash potion of swiftness, I'm going to put it on this one only just so you can see the difference. And we're gonna let them go free. And I just tempted them with wheat. So there you go. It's gonna take them a little while. The one that is swift will be able to follow you super easily. We've already lost the guy who doesn't have swiftness. This doesn't necessarily make them smarter. They're still a little derpy, but without sprinting, I'm just walking straight back, he's able to keep his own speed. I can even try to sprint. I'm sprinting right now, and he's doing a pretty good job of keeping up. If I sprint and run, I'll lose him, but that is a serious improvement over the previous sheep speed. Oh, I've caught myself here. And of course, a splash potion can be used on many mobs at once. You can just see how simple this tip is and very, very useful. Moving on to tip number 3. With this tip, we are going to be creating a very useful fuel source for you to use. And here's the thing, is fuel can sometimes be easy, sometimes be difficult to get, because either you go mining and get coal, or you can maybe cut down some trees and get a few pieces of charcoal from those trees. One second, let me clear this all out for us. I will admit that was not the most graceful way to clear this way out, but it has been cleared out. So with this, you will need a little bit of Podzoil, and you will need a Silk Touch axe. This doesn't have to be diamond, doesn't have to be efficiency. In fact, it works just great without that. But you will need a dark area and a little bit of Podzoil, or you could use mycelium, but we are going to be making a giant mushroom. And when you use mycelium, the block underneath the mushroom turns into dirt, which can be a little bit frustrating. Podzoil is much easier to use and much easier to get than mycelium. But basically, you'll make a gigantic mushroom like this, and using a Silk Touch axe, you can instantly break all of this down. And mushrooms are really easy to get. And if you just use a normal axe, you'll get mushroom instead of this mushroom block. Now, this block can be used as a really nice building block, but it can also be used as fuel. And many people don't know this. So go ahead and drop this fuel right in there. We can drop some extra fuel over here into the side. And it doesn't last very long, but you can get a lot of it. And you don't have to go very far in order to have a large supply. What I mean by this is you could have a mushroom building facility at your base, and this doesn't need to be converted like wood. Wood needs to be turned into charcoal, and then you can use it inside of a furnace. So you may have a wood farm at your base, but I find this much easier and a really, really good source of fuel. Next, this is a tip about inventory management and key bindings. And remember that you can change your key bindings if, say, you are on a laptop and you don't have a middle click, by going to controls here, and you can change your key binding. But we're going to be talking a little bit about this one. Which actually this middle one, which is pick block, which is button 3, or the middle click on my mouse. So this grass block that I have in my inventory, I've actually moved it out of my hotbar. But if I look at a block and middle click, zoop, it will go straight into my hand. You may have known about this because in creative mode, it works the exact same way. But now it works not only in creative, but in survival. So here we have this gravel. If I middle click, it will automatically select the gravel that's in my hotbar. This grass, if I click, it will move the grass block to an empty slot on my hotbar, and then move the selection of the hotbar to it, so I can immediately place it down. And once again, it doesn't have to be in the hotbar. That was actually true for a little while. It can be anywhere in your inventory. Next, this is a way that you can fight a lot better in Minecraft. I had to give myself a bow. Whenever you're in a bow fight, this could either be with mobs or with other players, and you have a shield, your shield feels pretty useless. Because anytime that you try to raise your shield, well, you're going to fire instead. If I had this, say, battle axe equipped and I right-clicked, well, the shield would go up and deflect other arrows coming in. But of course, when you right-click with a bow, you are going to fire that bow. And here is the tip. Whenever you are bringing your bow back, you can actually hit F, which will switch your dominant hand and your secondary hand, but it will also raise the shield if you continue to middle click. So you could be fighting off bow spam and totally defending yourself with a bow in your offhand, and then hit F and it will automatically draw the bow so that you can fire. And then, oh, here comes some arrows, and then switch back and volley back, and then, oh, here comes some more arrows, or of course, the rain. So this is a nice tip for PvP or fighting mobs to just hit F so that you can switch between your bow and your shield, raising the shield and letting yourself be defended, which is, of course, quite nice. Next is a tip for finding things in the world. And this is just game-changing for me. If you ever go to the end and need to find end cities, or if you go to the Nether or and want to find a fortress and are searching, or if you want to find a very specific biome, like maybe you're looking for a mesa biome or a mycelium biome, it can be very, very difficult. But with Elytra, now this is a very end game item because you do have to fight the dragon in order to be able to achieve them. Flying around has become much easier. All you have to do is put paper and gunpowder and you'll get some firework rockets. And these are the type that you want. You don't want to use a firework star with these. Otherwise, they'll actually explode and hurt you. Just these normal firework rockets that when fired off into the air, they don't do anything. They're pretty boring. You can get different durations on these by doubling up the amount or tripling up the amount of gunpowder. So this is flight duration 1. I tend to like flight duration 1 just because it doesn't go too far and you're not like, whoa, slow down there, firework rockets. But you can go up to flight duration 3. Flight duration 4 does not exist. And you can see that I've put 3 here in the crafting table for 3, or 2 for 2, or 1 for 1. But once you have a few of these, all you have to do, and I'm going to go into F5 so you can kind of see a little bit easier, is jump and activate your Elytra by jumping a second time. And I can show you that a little bit easier. Let's make a landing here. Is if you jump and then jump again, you can see that I start to kind of fall over, and that is because I have activated the Elytra. So if I jump and then jump again and start to fall over and then right-click the firework rocket, it will launch me into the air. It does take a little bit of practice. But once you're in the air, you have a rocket-powered flight and can move just about anywhere super fast. And as you can see, I could load in lots of terrain and get a great sense of where new places are in this world. If you have to go really, really far distances, my tip for you would be to aim up into the sky and get a lot of altitude and then fall back down slowly. That way you don't have to use up rockets over and over and over again. And you can get some really far distance because your momentum will stay pretty good by not going down too far. And let's get back down onto the ground here to show off the 6th tip. This one we're going to need some Endermen. So let's go ahead and put... Oh, I switched the difficulty to peaceful. So let's set the difficulty to easy. We need an Enderman. And with this Enderman, what we're going to do is first anger him. And he's going to be coming after me. And this might happen while you're in the end fighting the dragon. Oh, whoops. Well, this is one way to get rid of him. He doesn't want to go into water, but that's not necessarily what we wanted. And let's say that he's coming after you, and you want to get away, and you don't happen to have water like I do. Well, you can place down a boat, and he will actually sit in the boat, and then you can fight him. He's not going to teleport away. He's not going to move. He's not going to hit you as long as you don't get too close. You can get too close, and he will hit you. But this is super useful if you are in the end, and then you accidentally hit an Enderman with an arrow, and you can see that he's coming at you. He's mad. He's coming your way. We'll throw down a boat in between you and him, and he will sit in the boat, and then you can deal with other things. Or you can go up and harvest some ender pearls. Not only is this nice just in survival, but if you're playing UHC and you need ender pearls, this is by far the best way to farm ender pearls. I like to look at him first before I put. Oh, sometimes he misses the boat. That has happened to me once or twice, but now he is stuck and he won't teleport away, which I think is very, very, very nice. And finally, tip number 8. Here we are on the Minecraft server, and you can see that right here there is some issue. I can't walk through this block. And that is because I've mined this area with haste 2 and an efficiency 5 pick, which means that mining looks like this, and it is very, very fast. So there's been a desync between my client and the server, and the server thinks that there's a block here, but my client thinks that there isn't a block there. So how do you fix it? Well, in the past, you may have had to log out and log back in, but that can take a little bit of time. And also, if you happen to be playing maybe in PvP or something like that, it's kind of annoying to do. So all you have to do is actually place a block in that area. Now I'm going to do it with a torch because this is probably going to be a stone block, and it'll switch from a torch into the block that it is supposed to be. You'll also see my torch number go down, but that's fake as well because I'll get that torch back once the server kind of thinks about it. So let's go ahead and place it down. You can see that it turns into a block. My torch number went from 15 to 14, but if I pick that stack up, you can see that it switches back to 15, and I get that torch back. Then I can decide to just break that block if I want, and then I don't have that issue anymore.
Let me know if these help you in your Minecraft adventures. Big thank you to AngelRose for coming up with this list. And of course, they were in no particular order. Some are, they're all actually amazing. Well, let's not say some are more amazing than others. They're all pretty amazing. But just so that you know, number 1 wasn't the best. You decide what is the best. Thanks so much for watching this episode of OMGcraft. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Make sure you comment down below. Let me know if you are going to use these in your world. And make sure you subscribe. See you next time on OMGcraft. Bye.